What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. With each passing day is another day that we have not heard further clarification or, really news about Dr. Disrespect. And it's something, guys, that is unlike anything we've ever seen really in the gaming industry as a whole, that something like this, as big as this, being a Twitch permanent ban from one of the biggest streamers in the world, one of the biggest gaming personalities in the world, to say the least. Not hearing news of it, guys, for this long of a period of time is, like I said, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Now, Ninja leaving Twitch to go to Mixer was unlike anything we've ever seen, and I feel like we're going to be starting to see more and more things like this in the gaming landscape as a whole. But with that being said, guys, I want to talk about, just some thoughts on, Dr. Disrespect. What's next for him? What are we kind of thinking at this point in time with all the information we know, which is very little, to be honest with you guys. What's next here? Is it going to be, a comeback to Twitch? Is this some publicity stunt? Is he going to Facebook Gaming? Is he going to YouTube? Is he going to go to, Brime? Or is he creating his own streaming platform with some of these other huge streamers? There's so many question marks, guys. Let's break it down. Let's talk about, what is probably the most likely scenario here for Dr. Disrespect, and I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So, guys, obviously Dr. Disrespect being permanently banned from Twitch. Now, is this going to really be a permanent ban, or is it going to be, a temporary ban? It's very hard to say. It seems like right now Twitch is kind of sticking to their guns. They are not going to allow Dr. Disrespect to stream at this point in time. Now, I think really we need to understand more so the reasoning here for the Twitch ban and understanding, what's kind of going on behind the scenes. Now, look, I'm sure that Dr. Disrespect and his team, his close inner circle, they are kind of, really looking at all their options at this point in time, whether we're talking from a legal perspective or we're talking about from from strategizing on which platform to join next. It's a very interesting ordeal. We've talked on the YouTube channel about, this whole Dr. Disrespect situation. You guys can check out all of that content here on the YouTube channel. But I mean, honestly, guys, it just seems very very strange to me that when Ninja and Shroud, when they joined Mixer, and then the failure of Mixer that happened where, they ended up having to close their doors and kind of essentially merge into Facebook Gaming. I mean, Twitch seeing that Ninja and Shroud, just because they went there, didn't necessarily mean success for Mixer. Twitch is thinking maybe, we don't need to be paying millions of dollars to a personality. And so they kind of essentially found something maybe in the past that happened with Dr. Disrespect that went against their terms of service and decided to permanently ban him so that they didn't have to pay the millions of dollars, which is kind of an unlikely scenario, but at the same time, it's still a scenario that could have happened. But with that, what is next here for Dr. Disrespect? In my personal opinion, guys, even if Twitch says, look, it's okay, Dr. Disrespect can come back, I feel like that bridge has been burned at this point, because not only did they delete his channel completely, gave him a permanent ban, and they refunded people for their subscription to Dr. Disrespect. So it feels to me, if Twitch just states that, yes, you know what, after a thorough investigation, nothing's wrong here, he can come back, Dr. Disrespect probably would feel like, no, I'm not coming back to, I'm not going to come back at this point in time. Now, with that, we got to look at, guys like Ninja, who joined Mixer, and kind of how Twitch treated him when he left Twitch to go to Mixer. I just don't think Ninja's going to come back to Twitch, because that bridge feels like it's burned at this point. The same thing with Dr. Disrespect. So what are the other options? Well, of course, guys, you guys got Facebook Gaming, which I believe is on the rise. I've talked about that here on the YouTube channel, that Facebook Gaming seems to be the next platform that's kind of on the rise, because not only does Facebook, one of the biggest social media networks in the world, they have a backing there. And then on top of all of that, You've got other, of course, YouTube, which is a juggernaut of course, just gaming as a whole, guys. But I just wonder, when you look at all of the options, so you look at Facebook gaming, you look at YouTube, then of course there's always the option to maybe come back to Twitch if the permanent ban gets, released or something. And then, of course, there's other, streaming platforms that are probably coming into the fray, that being like Brime, which lots of question marks around that one. Apparently, Spotify is creating Spotify Gaming. It sounds like there's a number of other companies that are trying to get into the streaming world, which is a very interesting ordeal. We'll see how this kind of shakes up because the streaming wars are in, at full capacity at this point when it comes to, like, with television and movies, that being like Netflix versus Disney Plus versus that of Apple TV versus, one after the other. This is starting to become similar to that. You got Twitch, and then you got YouTube, you got Facebook, you've got now other streaming platforms coming up like Brime. So I think that there's a lot of question marks here. Now, there may be a real bombshell coming out, guys. I think regardless of how you look at it, whether you think it's a serious ordeal, like legal matter with Dr. Disrespect, or you think it's not as, necessarily as serious, it's more of just something where they're trying to strategize what their next move is going to be because there was some sort of disagreement or something with Twitch. Honestly, we just got to kind of look at, there's always the possibility that Dr. Disrespect may decide to try to create his own streaming platform with that of guys like Ninja and Shroud, and that would be very interesting as well. Just because you have the biggest streamers in the world creating their own streaming platform, if they decided to do that, doesn't necessarily mean success, guys. I mean, we look at like Mixer, what you have to do, and we've realized this because of what happened with Mixer, is you can't just buy viewers. You essentially have to build an organic following from the ground up, and it a lot of times just takes time, whereas Mixer was trying to buy those viewers by getting Ninja as well as Shroud. It just didn't work at the end of the day. So I think that we've really got to look at that when we start looking at companies like Brime coming into the fray and other companies that are starting to try to get into the streaming wars. And so with that, the most likely scenario to me, though, guys, when I look at the landscape of gaming and what Dr. Disrespect, everything that he represents, I believe it's YouTube. And here's why. It's a similar reason to that of Ninja, but YouTube makes sense to me because they already have a massive following and a ton of subscribers on YouTube. So it only makes sense to me that, kind of like what Courage did, where he ended up leaving Twitch to go to YouTube, and now he has everything just on YouTube. All of his YouTube videos on there, all of his streams are on YouTube. I feel like the same can be said for, if Ninja were to go there as well as Dr. Disrespect. It just makes more sense than going to even like Facebook, something that's, Facebook gaming is still kind of like just starting, similar to that of like Mixer. And so, YouTube is established. It's established when we talk about a brand recognition, when we're talking from a, content creator standpoint, as well as from a streaming perspective as well. It's rapidly growing, and having everything just on one platform might be a better thing for someone like Dr. Disrespect. It's hard to say, but it makes the most sense to me, at least. Starting Brime or joining Brime or starting your own streaming service. Starting your own streaming service would actually be the most interesting. I think that would be a huge move, without a doubt. But I just feel that YouTube makes the most sense right here, right now. But let me know, guys, what do you all think the next move is here for Dr. Disrespect? You heard my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more content and videos like this, stay here with Zero TV. Epic Games, of course, guys, known for Fortnite, has been, really making some incredible strides forward from their early Gears of War days to now with Fortnite. They're becoming a juggernaut in the gaming landscape. And with that, guys, Sony has actually invested a good portion of money into Epic Games as of late. We'll break it down and let's talk about it. I would love to get your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. So in a post, guys, or a tweet, I should say, from Rod Breslow, also known as Slasher, Epic Games has received a $250 million investment from Sony that gives the company a minority stake. We'll aim for a broader collaboration between both companies and will not impact releasing games on other platforms. Fortnite will never die. So let's put this into perspective. Sony is, buys a minority stake in Epic Games, $250 million investment. Now look, Epic Games, guys, is a subsidiary at this point of Tencent. So Tencent, of course, owns Epic Games. They also own Riot Games. They own actually a portion of a lot of other companies out there as well within gaming. So with Sony buying this, minority stake, what's interesting to me is that Sony's plan, what they're planning on doing here, their strategy. What this tells me, even though it's not going to impact releasing games on other platforms, Sony is obviously going to try to get things released from Epic Games first on PlayStation before they go other places. Or they may try to have some exclusives that come out of Epic Games that go directly onto PlayStation. Sony is taking a very bold and an aggressive approach to trying to really own the console wars, I should say. Look, PlayStation, guys, has been really doing an incredible job as of late against Xbox. Even though I'm actually an Xbox user more so than PlayStation, I mean, you can only just really see what Sony's doing versus that of Xbox. Now, I do think that Xbox is doing a better job, of course, of like buying other indie developers to work on, a ton of exclusives at once. But Sony's doing a really good job in making investments like this in companies like Epic Games that own some of the biggest games on earth. One of those being, of course, Fortnite. So with that, when we break this thing down, what it seems to me, guys, is that, Epic Games is going to most likely be bringing things out on other platforms, but what this is telling me is that Sony is going to get them first on PlayStation, which may actually affect Fortnite. So let's talk about that. So with Fortnite, with this investment, it's hard to say what's going to be on the dotted line and such. But what if Epic Games decided we're going to release, an upcoming season and it's going to go first on PlayStation before going to Xbox, PC, and Switch? That would be absolutely game-changing for PlayStation, guys, where it would all go, like a certain season gets released early if you're a PlayStation user. Things of that nature, guys, is something that could happen down the road here, because now with Sony buying that minority stake in Epic Games, they're going to be in ties with them in a major way, and that could absolutely change things. Now, when Slasher says Fortnite will never die, I don't know how this in particular affects that, but I do think that Fortnite is going to continue doing what it does, guys. I mean, that's just churning out money, and sure, it might have already peaked a while back, but I still think that Fortnite's got long legs for the future, guys, without a doubt. The question to me, though, is more the ins and outs of, like, will Fortnite, will they, Epic Games go ahead and give Sony, like, the exclusivity to certain things, certain items and things of that nature. That's where it could change with Fortnite. Now, other than that, games outside of that, that's where it's going to be all free reign. There very well may be an exclusive to PlayStation from Epic Games at some point or another, or just, as far as like different items and things of that nature that come out for different games may go first on PlayStation, similar to like what's going on with Call of Duty. But with that, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this whole thing with, with Epic Games, guys, and what now them getting this nice sized investment from Sony to become a minority stakeholder in the company. That's a big deal, guys. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. And for more videos like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV. The currency system within Gears of War for the past couple of titles, guys, has been a real conversation, and a lot of people have been very critical of it at this point in time. However, Gears of War seems to be trying to change that a little bit here with Operation 4 coming to Gears 5. So let's talk about it. So guys, in a tweet from the official Gears of War Twitter account, we will have a shiny new addition coming in Operation 4. Read about the revamped store that would change how you retrieve content in Gears 5. If you go to the link, guys, new store, more content. And this is something really interesting but exciting at the same time. With the arrival of Operation 4, we have completely revamped how you get content in Gears 5. We understand that a player's time is valuable, and the time you invest in a game should feel meaningful. Previously, we know some players felt limited in their ability to get the content. Beginning in Operation 4, we're rolling out a new, simpler system that makes it easier to get the content you want. We've heard your feedback that scrap and supply were were overly complicated and sometimes didn't give you the items you wanted. Both are now gone. The totem system felt like a barrier to your favorite character. It is gone. Characters are now unlocked whenever you get any character skin associated with that character. So whether you pick up a Dom skin by playing Tour or the base version via the store, he's immediately playable. But we've gone much bigger than that. You can now unlock practically anything you want. Gears coins. This could very well be a game changer, guys. Presenting Gears coins, our new earnable currency, which can be used to unlock nearly every item in the store, or for the PvE players, you can use them to upgrade skill cards. Certain items like esports packs and select bundles will be exempt from Gears coins. So that's unfortunate, but look, esports packs, guys, those really help. That helps the esports scene, like builds like the actual, prize pool and things of that nature. So I'm okay with that 100%. But Gears coins, earnable currency. What have I always preached on this channel, guys? Having things that are earnable over payable. So what I'm getting at is having things that you can earn within the game. That actually makes it so that people come back to the game, whether you're talking new titles, new emblems, new skins, and things of that nature that are earnable, like you can't just pay for them, you actually earn them. That is huge, and this is kind of like a real step in the right direction for that as a whole. Gears coins are earned by just playing. The easiest way to earn them is by progressing through the Tour of Duty. The Tour will still give cool characters, weapon skins, and more for you to show off on the battlefield. And for those that finish the Tour, we've introduced the new Legends rank, which sits above General and enables you to keep earning Gears coins for as long as you play. We're also giving Gears coins as ranked and escape rewards. All scrap balances and totem progress will be immediately converted to Gears coins at the start of Operation 4. Absolutely awesome, guys. Now, the Gear store itself, we have created a brand new store that features a massive permanent collection. These items are updated every operation, will never leave, so you can use Gear coins or iron to grab items whenever you want. New content will still be added every week. Items in the new section will initially be available for iron only, but after a short amount of time, they will transition to the operation section where they can be unlocked through Gears coins or iron. So it's really nice, guys, that items that are added to the store, they are permanent to the collection, so you can always go back and get the stuff that you want. Look, Gears of War isn't Fortnite. Fortnite can do where they have like a limited time item and people will like grab it as quick as possible. Gears of War doesn't have that. What Gears does have, though, is people who want to collect things over the course of time, and whether you can get it during a limited time, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do, but if you make it permanent, more and more people are going to be able to get those things over time. And so that's really special, I think, that they're adding that, permanent collections, essentially. Once the operation is over, all content either moves to the permanent collection or will be temporarily unavailable until it comes back in the newly added feature section. This section brings back select items from previous operations, which will be rotated weekly. Items here will be available for both Iron and Gears coins. So, look, guys, what I will tell you is that Gears coins is a step in the absolute right direction for Gears of War. Not only is it that this is a earnable currency, but what this tells me is that there may be more earnable items down the road here with Gears of War. Whether we're talking, more future operations, Gear 6. I think what's most important when we talk about, gaming right now, guys, when we're talking about multiplayer experiences, having earnable items, guys, is incredibly important in my opinion. Whether you're talking about titles, emblems that you can see other people have in the in-game lobbies, or people can see what you have to show how much time you put into the game. Things of that nature, guys, like the 10th Prestige Medallion in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was one of the most coveted items in that game. Everybody wanted it, and people were hacking to get it, was how coveted it was. And so what I'm getting at here, guys, is having things that are earnable in the game bring people back consistently. And so this is a step in the right direction for Gears of War as a whole. I could not be more excited, guys, for Gears 5 at this point in time with them adding something like an earnable currency. We'll see how things go as it progresses, but this is a great step in the right direction. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and for more Gears 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We all have our favorite games, guys, that we've ever played. And I wanted to give you guys in this segment of the show the top 5 greatest games ever made in my personal opinion. And I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below. All of our lists, we may have some similarities with some of the games that, we may have in common, but some may be totally different. And so I would love to hear what your guys' top 5 games are that were ever made that you believe were, just the best, that you had a really great experience with, that you thought the characters were great, the story was great, from a graphical standpoint, from a multiplayer perspective, whatever it is, guys. I'm going to give you all my top 5 greatest games ever made, and I'll give you even some honorable mentions. So let's get into it. Coming in, guys, at number 5, which these are going to be in no specific order, guys, but at number 5 for me is The Last of Us. The Last of Us, guys, this is a game that, of course, really, in my opinion, has gotten me, got me really into Naughty Dog as a company. Now, of course, Uncharted was kind of like, there before The Last of Us, and I really loved Uncharted, but The Last of Us just was such a surreal experience. I'll never forget, guys, as you're traveling through the country, across the country, with Joel and Ellie, going through Pittsburgh was unlike anything I've ever experienced in a video game, because I live near Pittsburgh, PA, and with that, it was just such a surreal experience. Such a visceral gameplay and like a gritty, dark horror kind of style game, which I love horror games as it is, but The Last of Us really, I believe, was one of the greatest achievements in gaming, guys. An incredible game that just showcased some incredible characters from, of course, from Joel and Ellie, as well as just some of the other supporting cast members. And then, of course, all of the different enemies that you went up against in The Last of Us. Just it was unreal. Like, unlike anything I've ever played in a video game format was The Last of Us. Very special when it came to the storytelling, from a graphics perspective, which of course with The Last of Us Remastered just was a spot-on incredible experience, I've got to say, guys. Was this game, and they did an incredible job overall, that being Naughty Dog, of The Last of Us, and I think they actually kind of outdid themselves when it came to The Last of Us versus that of like Uncharted, which I thought Uncharted was absolutely great, but I thought that they took it up a notch with The Last of Us, in my personal opinion. Coming in, guys, at number 4 is none other than Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now look, Black Ops 2, guys, is my favorite COD of all time. I absolutely love this game, and I'll give you, a couple reasons why. Number 1, I love the campaign. It wasn't the best campaign in all of the Call of Duty franchise, but I loved it nonetheless. I love that semi-futuristic take on, just Call of Duty, and really just the different weapons that you had in the game, the different things that you could earn within the game, the prestiges, the titles, the emblems that you could create, just from overall. And then with zombies, and the different maps were so iconic. Standoff was absolutely incredible, guys. Pretty much my favorite map in all of Call of Duty, and I loved mainly the sniping in it. The sniper rifles were something special, guys. We actually started by just playing it from a competitive perspective in the multiplayer realm, and then we ended up trick-shotting. I got into trick-shotting, guys, with Black Ops 2 in a major way, and I gotta say, it was the most fun I had in any Call of Duty, without a doubt. From just playing with your friends on the Xbox 360, trick-shotting, to pub stomping, it was good for really any type of player, in my personal opinion. I thought it catered to everyone, whether you were trying to play competitively, whether you were trying to trick shot, whether you were trying to pub stomp, whether you were trying to, just have a good time, just kind of chill and play with your friends. It was an incredible experience, and it was probably the biggest achievement, in my opinion, when it comes to the Call of Duty realm. Coming in, guys, at number 3 is Halo 2. Now, Halo 2 was one of the first games I ever owned on the original Xbox, and Halo 2, guys, I gotta say, was something, you know, that I had a ton of fun playing with my friends. It was kind of the first time I was really introduced to the split screen mechanism or mechanics, and that was something that was really awesome to me. Being able to play with my friends who would come over, we would play the split screen style, and it was something really special. I really enjoyed playing Halo 2 from, not only from like, you know, playing with my friends, because it was kind of my first introduction to like the multiplayer side of things, but the campaign, the story was so good, and it was just, you know, there was so much there. Even though looking back now and kind of, you know, seeing it for what it is, the graphics and how we've progressed over time, it was such an incredible experience, guys. It kind of shaped how I when it came to playing video games and such, it really kind of shaped me in a certain way, because games like Halo is how we got to where we are now, because it was one of those, you know, staples in gaming. And that's why I'm so excited that Halo Infinite is coming out and the Halo franchise is continuing, because it's such a staple in all of gaming. And so Halo 2, guys, will always hold a very close place in my heart. Not because it had like the greatest story ever or it had the greatest multiplayer experiences, but because it was just overall, guys, it was a full package deal that you could play from you know, playing with your friends, playing, you know, playing, of course, the campaign. And I love the sniping once again in that game was absolutely incredible. The pistols were awesome. I mean, it was just one of those games, guys, that was really my first introduction to the Halo universe. And I went back after playing Halo 2 to Halo 1 and kind of really understanding where this, you know, franchise was kind of moving in. Something, you know, unlike anything I've really ever played, guys, you know, back then. And it was something that, like I said, will always be close to my heart. Coming in, guys, at number 2 is StarCraft 2. So, guys, StarCraft 2, one of the greatest real-time strategies, I believe one of the greatest PC games ever made. This is a game that I bought. Interesting story. I was going to college. I was my first year, freshman year of college, and I was going to buy a laptop. And it was going to be my, you know, first laptop that I was really like purchasing in a major way. I bought an Asus gaming laptop. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to purchase a PC game because I never really owned them. I was always more so into the console than the PC side of things. And so I decided I want to get a PC game, and I decided to go ahead and pick up StarCraft 2. And so at first I was actually going to pick up like Diablo. I was actually looking at World of Warcraft. And World of Warcraft, you know, just because of how long it is and how many expansions there are, it was a little bit intimidating for me. Diablo, I thought it was maybe a little bit too dark. And so StarCraft, when I saw that, I thought this might be something interesting. And so when I started playing it, what an incredible experience, guys. It actually was one of those games that, you know, having to like understand and learn the hotkeys and learning just everything about the game, playing the campaign to try to understand things, and then trying to, you know, of course, go into the multiplayer side of things, and then the co-op and all of those different things, really, in my opinion, was one of the founding fathers of the esports realm, guys. This was a game that I watched, you know, from way back then when it came to the esports realm, with like EG Idra and Dignitas Select and all of these guys, Kiwi Kaki. These guys all, you know, had a way in which I really was able to connect with this game in a major way outside of just playing the game. And it was one of those games that I just wanted to constantly get better at. And I really never got really great at the game, but it was something that it was just like a challenge that I never really taken on, and it was something I really enjoyed. And from a graphical standpoint, guys, I still think that the graphics still hold up to this day. And StarCraft 2, they're still adding new maps. They're still, you know, changing things. It's still going strong to this day, and StarCraft 2 actually became free to play, which is a huge deal. And so, like, if you haven't checked out StarCraft 2, guys, I would absolutely give it a try. I mean, it is an incredible experience that really shaped me into the gamer I am now. And we have still not seen a real-time strategy like that of StarCraft, and that's why I've been such a huge advocate of wanting a StarCraft 3 at some point or another in the future here, because it's so good, and I think the RTS genre did so well back then, and I want it to have a resurgence in a major way. And so with that, I think a StarCraft 3 would absolutely do that. But StarCraft 2, guys, absolutely on my top 5. And then at number 1, guys, is Gears of War 3. Gears of War 3, guys, was without a doubt single-handedly one of the greatest games I believe ever created. Gears has always been very close to my heart. I love this franchise. The original trilogy was incredible. And then, of course, Gears of War Judgment was a step in the wrong direction. Then you had, the Ultimate Edition, which I think was great. Gears of War 4, I thought was great. Gears 5, I thought was even better. Like, it was the best of, like, the more recent Gears of War games. I still think it's one of the highest up there. But Gears of War 3, though, guys, it was kind of like the culmination of everything that you were working towards in the first couple of games came to a conclusion with Gears of War 3 in a way. From a campaign perspective, the story was so dark, gritty. The characters were just so good, guys. And this, from a campaign perspective, it kind of closed out that trilogy of Gears of War. And then from a multiplayer perspective, having so many different ways you can play the multiplayer, as well as like the horde mode, as well as, just all of these different modes that they've created over time with Gears of War, like Beast Mode and such. It just had so many different ways that you could connect with the franchise. If you didn't want to play the campaign, you could play, multiplayer. If you didn't want to play, multiplayer, you could play horde mode with your friends, or you could play, beast mode with your friends. I mean, it was just such a one of those experiences where I've always talked on this YouTube channel about having full package deals, having where there's more than one way to connect with the franchise, having ways in which you play, the campaign, a visceral story, but then you also have ways you play the multiplayer. You also are able to play co-op modes, and having all different types of ways. And it's evolved even to this day with Gears 5. You've got escape mode. You have all these, they've changed some of the game modes that they have out there, even from an esports perspective. It's just a beautiful thing, guys. Gears of War has even though a lot of people say it's a niche community, I believe it's a very strong community at its core. And, it's something that I'm proud to be a part of. I love Gears of War. And it's, like I said, Gears of War 3, I believe, is one of the greatest games ever made at this point in time. And I can't wait to see the continuation of the series moving forward, following up Gears 5. And it's just, it's awesome, guys. It really is. I can't wait to see the continuation. And these are my top 5 video games that I believe the greatest games that were ever made. Let me know, though, guys, what are your top 5 games, and what are the top 5 games that you think are the greatest that were ever made? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more top 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.